What is going on, guys? It's Modded Worker here. Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be a channel update video for 2020. I try and do one of these videos just once a year to let you guys know what kind of videos and content I'm planning on putting out on the channel for this year. Obviously, we're like almost halfway into the year already. I was meant to do this video months ago, but just kind of got delayed with all the other videos I was putting out. So before we get started though, I have changed my microphone setup. I've been using this new microphone for the past maybe 6 or 7 videos. I haven't had anybody really say anything about it in the comments, so I want to know if you guys prefer this new microphone or the old one, because I'm not 100% sold on this new microphone at the moment. I do feel like it can make my voice sound a bit kind of muffled at times. Maybe not quite as clear as my previous microphone. So this is the old microphone that I've been using since 2015 or 2016 to record all of my videos up till now. So I feel like this microphone might have a bit more clarity to it because it doesn't quite have that bass or depth that the new microphone has. So I'm kind of torn on, you know, which one I should go with going forward. So let me know which one you prefer in the comments down below. Do you prefer this microphone or do you prefer this microphone, which is the microphone that I'm currently using in all of my videos now? So this microphone definitely has more bass to it, but I feel like it might sacrifice a bit on the kind of clarity of the microphone. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure myself. So normally I wouldn't ask viewers what they think, because obviously a lot of people have different opinions, but just let me know in the comments, you know, which one you prefer, or if you don't really care and it doesn't really make much of a difference for you when watching my videos. I'd really appreciate you guys letting me know in the comments below. So anyway, moving on with the actual video here, I'm just going to keep using this microphone for now. So basically, I know a lot of people have been wanting me to do more Switch tutorials for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I do want to do more Switch videos. Obviously, the reason I stopped making them was because I got a lot of false strikes and claims from Nintendo, so it made it very difficult to try and make Switch videos. My Switch Tutorial Series is still available on YouTube, although a couple of videos have been taken down and are only available on BitChute and Library right now, which will be linked in the description. I now add my BitChute and Library channel at the bottom of the description of every one of my new videos that I upload. So it's just an alternative place you can go to access my content, just in the event that a video gets taken down, or God forbid the whole channel gets taken down one day. You'll still be able to access my content on those other platforms. So definitely, you know, check them out. Maybe give me a follow on there, so that if anything happens, you'll still be able to find my content on those other platforms, BitChute and Library. Library is more consistent. You know, my videos are meant to be automatically backed up on BitChute and Library, but for some reason, BitChute doesn't always back up the videos. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why, it's kind of broken, but Library is consistent. It always backs up every new video that I upload to YouTube. So anyway, so with the Switch videos, I do want to start a new Switch tutorial series, but there is a slight issue with obviously all the copyright strikes going on. The reason I want to start a new series though is because mainly there's the new SX core that's just released from Team Executor, which is a new mod chip that you can solder to the back of your Nintendo Switch that allows even the patched model Nintendo Switches to be exploitable. Which is something that wasn't available before. Previously, if you wanted to exploit your Nintendo Switch, you had to have a Nintendo Switch that was manufactured sometime in 2018 or lower. There's a serial number checker that you can use to check if your Switch is exploitable, if it's a patch model or a non-patch model, because the whole exploit is done using a hardware vulnerability that was not fixable in the Switches. They couldn't fix it with a software patch, so Nintendo had to start manufacturing newer Switches that had the fix implemented. So all those newer Switches that are coming out today, since sometime in 2018 and beyond, they're all patched. You can't do the old exploit on them. But if you can find a pre-patched Nintendo Switch, one of the older models, then you can exploit it. That's been the case for the longest time, but now SX Core has come out so that even the patched model Switches can be exploited as well. So that's a huge deal. That will allow a lot more people to get into, you know, Switch modding. The only issue with it at this time, as far as I'm aware, is just that it's kind of complicated to install. You know, if you're not familiar with soldering, then it's going to be difficult. You have to take apart your Switch and solder this chip, and it's very small solder points and stuff. So if you're not adept at soldering, then it's going to be difficult to install. But who knows, maybe there'll be sellers selling the Switch that's already got the chip installed so that you can just buy a Switch with the mod chip already pre-installed for you, stuff like that. But obviously, Nintendo are now going after resellers of the SX Pro chip for the older exploit. A lot of the resellers are being taken down because Nintendo's filed a lawsuit against them. So it's very it's very risky doing Switch videos. I think I have a method that should work. It's not going to be perfect because certain videos are not going to be on YouTube. So this tutorial series is going to be where most videos will be on YouTube, and they should be absolutely fine on YouTube. But there's going to be a couple of videos that are going to have to be only on other platforms like BitChute and Library. So I'll probably have to link them in the videos on YouTube. And one of the problems is the very first episode is going to have to be one of those videos that is only on BitChute and Library. So the first video you'll see in the new Switch tutorial series on YouTube will be episode 2, but I'll have a link that will link back to episode 1 on the other platforms. So that's just the way I'm going to have to do it. It's kind of an awkward way of doing things, but it's pretty much the only way I can do it, and hopefully not end up with strikes from Nintendo or false claims. There's a lot of kind of things I have to do in the background to try and get these videos on YouTube so that they're adhering to everything so they don't get hit with a false claim or strike. So yeah, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. We're going to try this new Switch tutorial series. We're going to see how it goes. Fingers crossed everything goes okay. If it doesn't, then I may have to cut it off short. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's the Nintendo Switch stuff. So the next thing is going to be Ps4 tutorials. So I am planning on making a new Ps4 tutorial series, which is going to be a new episodic series like the Switch tutorial series, the Xbox 360, JTAG and RGH tutorials, the Ps3 tutorial series. So it's going to start off, all the different episodes going through showing you how to make the most out of your jailbroken PS4. And the reason why I want to kind of do this, obviously I'll be re-going over videos I've already done in the past for the PS4. But the reason I want to do this is that a lot of my older videos are getting a bit outdated now for the PS4. Some of them are still from the 4.05 and 4.55 exploit that I just never updated to 5.05 because 5.05 only came out a few months after I made those videos, and it was pretty much the same process. So yeah, a lot of my older videos are still for 4.05 or 4.55. And of course, my current videos are not structured in any meaningful way because I was just making videos when new stuff was coming out. There was a lot of new stuff coming out when 5.05 launched, so I was just making videos on any new thing that came out at the time, so they're completely unordered. So the idea is to make this more structured tutorial series that'll go over a lot of my outdated videos and update them. There's a lot of new tools and software processes that have been made easier now than they were when I made my initial videos on them. So instead of taking like 10 or 11 steps, it now only takes, 3 or 4 steps to do. So it just makes sense for me to kind of go over those and get a proper comprehensive tutorial series done on the PS4. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I've also upgraded the quality. So I've got myself a PS4 Pro on 5.05 and a 4K capture card. So you'll get better quality on the PS4 tutorials as well. I was uploading videos in 4K anyway, but it was 1080p just rendered out at 4K so that you get the higher quality option on YouTube because it renders out at a higher bit rate on YouTube if you have the 4K option. So even though it's still 1080p, you get a slightly better quality if you have the 4K option in YouTube because of the higher bit rate. You get less artifacts on screen and stuff like that, but it's still not great quality. So now that I actually have a PS4 Pro on 5.05 and a 4K capture card, I can get proper true 4K footage of the PS4. So anybody watching on like a 1440p or 4K display should see a noticeable bump in the quality. So there is that as well. Now, I'm not sure when I'm going to start the PS4 tutorial series. I'm probably going to start the Switch tutorial series first because the PS4 tutorials I'm kind of holding off on because of the potential of a new exploit that might release in the coming months, maybe, who knows, and also because of Mira and the Open Orbis toolchain. Both of those have launched, and that could mean that we get some new plugins and new homebrew that improves things. So I don't want to start the tutorial series with everything as it is now, only to get a few tutorials in and suddenly, you know, there's some new plugin for Mira that makes things a ton easier and I have to kind of redo those videos. So I'm kind of waiting to see what develops with Mira and the OpenOrbis toolchain, and if we see another exploit in the coming weeks. So we'll see. So that's what's going on with the PS4. Also, Ps3 Tutorials. I need to finish the series. I've kind of got hung up on that series. I need to finish it. So I did promise that I would do a video on RTE tools, real-time editing, and you know, GSC injectors and stuff like that for the PS3. So I'm going to do a video on that and try and finish up that series. And then I'll just be taking requests from then on. If there's something I haven't covered that most people who watch the series think I should cover, then I'll obviously add more videos to the series. So when I am done with the PS3 jailbreak tutorial series, I'm going to look into doing something with the PS3 hen exploit. So I might just do one tutorial. It depends how much. I haven't looked into it yet, so I don't know how much there really is to cover with the PS3 hen exploit. That's the exploit for the Super Slims and the PS3s that can't install custom firmware because their minimum firmware version is higher than 3.56, which basically means you can't install custom firmware on those PS3s. But instead, you can use this hen exploit, which is similar to the PS4 exploit, where it's like a tethered exploit, an exploit through the web browser to enable homebrew and other stuff. So, you know, it gives you a lot of similar functionality to custom firmware, but not quite as much. I don't think you can run Linux on it, but again, I haven't really looked into it enough to see what it's capable of, and if there's enough kind of content there to turn it into a mini series of like 4 or 5 episodes, or whether I'll just do one video and I can pretty much fit everything into one video. So we'll see. I haven't looked into that exploit enough yet, but once I finish the proper full custom firmware PS3 tutorials, then I'll probably do a mini series on the hen exploit as well for the PS3. So we'll see. Anyway, so that's basically what I'm planning on putting out. I know people also are asking me to make more Xbox 360 tutorials. I don't have any plans to make another Xbox 360 tutorial series, at least not right now, with all the other videos I want to put out. And mainly that's because I've kind of covered the Xbox 360 to death at this point. There's not much more I can really cover that I haven't already covered already. I mean, I did about 50-something episodes of JTAG tutorials, then I did about 10 episodes of a kind of refresher on the JTAG tutorials. The first 10 episodes that were getting pretty outdated, I kind of updated them all. So it's like 60-something episodes, and then most of my hardware tutorials, which there were about 10 episodes on the Xbox 360 about flashing your disk drives and hot swapping and doing all of that stuff. So I must have done about 70 to 80 videos or more potentially on the 360. So I've pretty much covered everything there is to cover there. And I guess some of them are mad that I'm making like PS3 tutorials, but that's because I never had a PS3 tutorial series on my channel before. I've never covered it, so I felt like it's something I need to cover because I've never covered it before, and it would be a nice thing to add to the list of consoles that my channel basically supports with all my tutorials, whereas I've already covered the 360 to death at this point, as I've said. So that's why I haven't really been planning on making much 360 stuff. But, you know, I probably will get back into it at some point. But like I say, I have these other tutorial series that I need to do first. And then I may look back into doing more Xbox 360 stuff at some point. Unless something huge happens for the 360, in which case, then maybe I will jump back into that a little sooner. So anyway, that's basically it for this channel update video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.